Three major stories, all involving a former Trump aide named Sam Nunberg, breaking in the last 24 hours. Sam Nunberg, number one, has been subpoenaed to testify in Robert Mueller's Trump-Russia investigation, and that is part of story number one, which is he is refusing to testify, saying he will ignore the subpoena. Number two story about Sam Nunberg is that he admitted during an interview on CNN with Jake Tapper that Carter Page was colluding with the Russians. And number three, Sam Nunberg believes that Mueller has something specifically on Donald Trump. Let's at least attempt to break this down into its component parts, and we'll start with the subpoena. Sam Nunberg met with Robert Mueller's investigators a couple of weeks ago. He has been subpoenaed, and he says he will reject the subpoena. He says, come and arrest me. And that is maybe what will actually happen. That is part one. Part two is that he admitted on CNN to Jake Tapper that he believes Carter Page flat out colluded with the Russians. Here he is yesterday during one of his many, many, many weird interviews.
About communications with Carter Page. Do you think I would communicate with Carter Page? Carter Page is a scumbag.
Okay, so the answer is no. You would not communicate with Carter Page.
So the answer is no, and Carter Page was colluding with the Russians.
So Carter Page was colluding with the Russians, you think?
Yes, I believe Carter Page was colluding with the Russians.
Huge, huge. And we'll get back to that. And then we have part three, which is that Mueller has something on Trump. Nunberg was asked by MSNBC about that. He said, I think they may. And this was, again, part of another one of these just very strange interviews, speculation ranging from just absolute and total panic over what he believes may be a coming indictment from Robert Mueller to maybe just being drunk. The explanations have ranged from the complex to the simple to the insightful. Here is this next comment from his MSNBC interview.
Do you think that they have something on the president?
I think they may.
What?
I think that he may have done something during the election, but I don't know that for
Why
sure.
do you think that?
I can't explain it unless you were in there.
Explain the atmosphere.
The way they asked questions about anything I heard after I was fired from the campaign.
Yes, and it gets even weirder. This is what panic looks like. He spoke to CNN's Gloria Borger, and just every element of these interviews is outrageous.
So it was only those three people they wanted information on?
No.
What else?
I'll send you the full subpoena.
Okay.
And you know what,
okay.
Mr. Mueller, I've been warned not to go after him. I've been warned that you're wrong, that he'll take you down. You know what? Why should I give him every communication I've had from November 1 of 2015 with my mentor, Roger Stone, and with Steve Bannon?
Because you might be arrested if you don't. The White House asked about it. They're writing this all off at someone who flat out didn't work at the White House, period.
Sam Nunberg, the president's former campaign aide, is refusing a subpoena by a grand jury, and he just said on MSNBC moments ago, I think he, meaning the president, may have done something during the election, but I don't know that for sure. Your reaction?
Well, I definitely think he doesn't know that for sure because he's incorrect. As we've said many times before, there was no collusion with the Trump campaign. Anything further on what his actions are, he hasn't worked at the White House, so I certainly can't speak to him or the lack of knowledge that he clearly has.
The idea that a former Trump advisor who was interviewed by Mueller's team saying that Carter Page colluded with the Russians and they may have something on Trump is nothing is downright hilarious because of how impossible it is to believe that. And what is clear here is that whether you believe he was drunk, nervous, or panicked, this is the behavior of a guy who is extremely skittish after his own meetings with Mueller's team. He is extremely scared, and apparently rightly so, based on the questions that were asked and the requests for documents that were made. And there is just no way that this ends well for many, many people. We don't know yet who's on the list of people that this is not going to end well for, but this is a rattled guy. I don't care how you describe it. He's scared. He is very scared.
It's a very bizarre demeanor, and I think that's a defense mechanism for him. I guarantee you that if Mueller is going to present, 5, 10 years of prison if he doesn't cooperate, the guy will turn around real quick.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be the penalty for the contempt, but certainly depending on what it is that Robert Mueller knows in terms of the investigation at large, that doesn't seem unreasonable to me. It's certainly possible 5 to 10 could be on the table there. I'm glad we don't have any vacations planned for a while because I don't want to miss a minute of what's going on here. The video you just watched was made possible by support from you. Please go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show. You can make a pledge of as little as $1 per month. And every dollar helps to support the work that we're doing, particularly in light of the YouTube ad boycott, which has been really bad.